All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Artivist Talks. We have the legendary Melanie Aguirre, who is going to be holding it down with us. And yeah, we're going to have an amazing talk. This is the amazing series. And yeah, I am very, very thankful for jumps in. We got it popping. So I appreciate her for taking the time. And then we are gonna get her in. Yeah, Mel, what is good? Thank you
Was
for
good.
joining us. This is long overdue, and I'm so happy to shed light on your amazing work. But as we kick it off right here with this Artivist Talk, I want to let people know this is Big Creative Expression fam. We acknowledge a term called artivism, which came around long before me, which is art and activism. But at Creative Expressions, we define activism as activating our organism to its highest potential. So for us as creatives, artists, musicians, movers, and shakers, we use art to activate ourselves. So it does not have to be political, and we do not aim for the burnout. We aim to pour into our cup till it overflows so we can serve community, serve ourselves, and have our creativity literally be a magnetic force that jumps into our own being. And then in doing this, this is going to allow us to just be our very best. I want to give a little introduction to Melanie on what I know. I've been working with her for about a year or so. She's come to some amazing events. She is part of our Artivist roster. I'm amazed and honored by the things she does. I met her as a literal mover, and she is an actress as well as a plant-based medicine woman that is getting some amazing healing work. She's put out books and so much great things that we're going to learn about. But first and foremost, she's also just an amazing mom. She represents Borican in our Neo Rican community out here. Big shout out to her in Brooklyn. And she has been doing her art not only for herself, but she has been doing things with seniors. She is doing things in the breaking community and internationally as well. So Mel, I started it off, but please let the people know who you are, and then we'll start this from there. But wanted to send you big love and big energy for doing this talk and all the amazing work you do. And once again, honored to have you.
Thank you for having me, and what a beautiful introduction. Um, Sometimes when I hear back like my human design or how I've created myself to be, I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm a diplomatic hip hop ambassador.
Woo.
One of my favorite identities was that I was ranked, or as for lack of better words, deemed a queen of New
Woo.
York. I'm a community leader here in New York City when it comes to all styles. I have the great pleasure and honor to represent and be a legend in whacking.
Mhm.
And yes, I do acting. I've been in the commercial business for a really long time, and I love on stage theater. I also
Mhm.
have singing in cover bands, and you know, regardless of all of it, I love each and every moment of all the things that I do. And yes, I work with plant medicine. Tomorrow, I'm actually having an introduction with a big group of priestesses women that are going to go on a 21-day parasite detox with me. And I'm leading that as a trailblazer. And I'm just so greatly honored and just so feel so blessed that I am so trusted by people. So, yeah, I think that's just me in a nutshell right now in this moment in time.
I love it, man. I had to throw up the big hearts for you right there because we love all aspects of what you do. So we always start these interviews with the question. I gave the expressions definition of artivism, but I know you are deeply involved in all those multifaceted energies that you do are part of one thing, right? Which is your creative expression. So I did want to ask you, like, what does artivism mean to you, and how do you use your art to activate your organism? Because I know it's huge in all those things that you mentioned.
I love that you say the word organism, and it makes me like it comes into so many dimensions of what this human design of Melanie is, you know what I
Ooh.
mean? But I think that art artism, right? Am I pronouncing it right? Because it's
Artivism.
such
Yep, you got it. That's
artivism,
good.
because it's such a favorite
Remix.
word. I think it's actually having the courage to stand up for those that are in silence. I think that
Mm.
it is the courage to to have the knowingness that your existence matters and that your art that you leave behind is going to leave a legacy of harmony, seen and unseen. You know what I mean?
Woo.
And sometimes artists have the ability to say what others can't say and do what others can't do. And, it takes a lot of courage to be in front of people and bare your skin and be vulnerable and show your heart in a time where people are so scared to feel and dream. Oh my God, we're like deprived of dreamers right now.
Mm.
I get emotional because, I see children and they have such an ability to dream, but because of technology, it is hindering their imagination because now they're being
Mm.
fed what they should be imagining.
Ooh, that's a bar. Oh, wow.
And it's a really dangerous thing to be programmed. And I think
Mm.
that, and this might be trailing off, but being an
Go for it, sis.
activist, is going against, what is being programmed and having the courage to be like, no, this is not working. And also bringing people back into their nature, bringing people back into to how their ancestors used to do and how the ways of the heart and the ways of love and the ways of just being human.
Mm. Mm. Wow, Mel. Let's take a moment and just breathe that in. I want to thank you. And that's going to lead me to my next question. You spoke a lot about programming and the role of activism being to break these programs. I love how you said youth and adults who are being fed this information that is taking away our imaginations. I want you to take us back to young Mel, to
Mm.
little Mel when she was just, a child, because you are a mother yourself. And I felt something really deep when you said that imagination is being robbed. And I know I'm blessed to have many deep conversations with you in Socrates Park over our building over the last year. But I want us to, dive into you and your origin story and how your imagination and your creativity, because I can feel that inner child in you and you kept on dancing. You didn't let that fire go out. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. But for a lot of people, they don't. So take us back to your origin and your connection to art and how you use it, why you started making art and creating. Because I know you keep on doing. We all start as artists, I believe, from children, and somehow it get that imagination gets really ripped out. So thank you for saying that. So I want to hold space for you to take us back to it, to your origin story and how you got into these realms of creativity.
You know, I can't help but to get emotional because being Puerto Rican and being
Mm,
colonized and having colonial trauma
mm,
has made my family so violent. And
mm,
I grew up in, don't get me wrong, my family's
mhm,
beautiful, but there was violence. And
mm,
then there was this fast pace of New York City. So there was parts of myself that felt neglected. And in that
mm,
neglect, I had to fill it up with fantasy and magic and dance. So I love musicals and I love singing and dancing and it would honestly, I have to say that the television was my babysitter.
mm,
And
mm,
I remember spending hours and hours and hours in front of the TV while my mom was working and my grandma was doing what she was doing. So a lot of my imagination and playfulness came from being inspired of what I saw on television and how I wanted
mm,
to do that as well. And I remember there was there was this one time I got punished. I don't remember what the hell I got punished for. And I remember my mom, she sent me to my room and I couldn't do nothing but sit on my bed. And I remember just seeing myself dancing and singing in an arena. Mind you, I've never seen an arena before. And
Mm.
I was like, I want to do that.
Wow.
So, sometimes through pain and struggles, I think it's in our nature to find the light, even if we can't see it in our eyes. We're able to see it in our first eye.
Woo! Mel, you got bars. I knew it. Wow. I love it. I want to reinforce these points to amplify. You did the lemon to lemonade. You took situations, punishment, lack of resources, and you said before, and you've performed now on stages across the world, but you imagined it and you took your imagination and brought into reality. I thank you for your vulnerability around growing up around traumatic situations, around violence, which I'm no stranger to. I do want to ask you now to how did you take that and mold it? Now we got little Mel right here who's active imagination, going through trials and tribulations, turning to something that is literally from another dimension and bringing it into reality. I can just imagine you on punishment and you were just like creating the version of yourself, right? How did this evolve and what happened? Because you stuck with it, right? So we got a young girl going through this Borinquen ancestry, something deep with imagination, using these tools, whatever it was, whether it was something you got inspired from television, seeing that vision, how did it then play out? Take us a little further down there.
So, when I was younger, there was a period where my mom, she put me in a dance class
Mm,
and then she couldn't afford it anymore. So I
mm,
did maybe like 2 years. I did two recitals and then that was that. And then I, at the time, was living with my grandparents as well.
mm,
And I got an allowance of $20. Now I'm a teenager, and I would
mhm,
clean the house, and I would do my thing, and I would take my $20. And my uncle, he used to work at Carnegie Hall at the time, and he's like, "I got a dance studio for you." So he took me to Broadway Dance Center, and he showed me how to get there. At the time, I lived in Staten Island, how to get there from Staten Island to Manhattan. And I started taking dance classes on Saturdays.
mm,
And that was that was right there, the spark off, the initiation. I started meeting people. Now I'm 16, 17 years old. I got a little bit of freedom. And by 18, I auditioned for a block agency. I got signed. I started working right away. When I tell you, I was like, I did everything that I had to do for school because I was like, I am not looking back. Like, I need to get out of this place. I need
mm.
to get out of this institution. I want to do this. I'm clear. And yeah, I from 18 till up until this moment, I've been a consistent artist that's been working.
Wow. Mel, once again, I'm learning so much about you in these couple minutes right here, and I want to follow the thread. Your art is literally revolutionary. I'm gonna say the little R, big E, evolution. Your being was evolved through this, and I am seeing how you have taken the same deck that was dealt to a lot of people that allow them to turn into addiction and all these things, and you transmogrified that energy. And I'm feeling that this is going to connect to your healing work, right? But
Mhm.
let's keep going. And how were you able to use, and I'm sure this is hindsight 2020, you're looking in the rear view, but you said you didn't stop from that age, right? How were you able to transmogrify that same deck that makes so many people not, give up on themselves? You are like, you are, that's why I say it's revolutionary. You resisted something and you said, I'm gonna take this path of an artist, and you never look back. And I love how you said, I just got to get rid of this school. I don't care if I'm in Staten Island. I'm a show. What do you think gave you that resilience, and what was it in you? Was there internal guidance? Where did that motivation come from? Because I know some cats in Staten Island, they ain't moving out there. You know what I mean? So, and to have that as a young age shows that there was something. So if you could even open that door to us, what do you think it was that allowed you to develop that, and
Uh,
walk the path?
I think it was the aliveness of dancing and singing and the sound of an applause. What? That would fill my body up. And I was like, I am here. Like, this is real. Like, everything that I was a kid dreaming of and having an audience and
Mm,
being able to do it, I knew that this aliveness was the confirmation that I was on the right path.
wow. Thank you so much for that, Mel. I want to continue on to the other part of your work, which is around plant-based medicine and healing. And I do actually see it as fully related, right? I know sometimes people will say, hey, this and this, but you are totally painting a holistic picture. You also spoke about doing internal healing work, doing stuff with women, removing some of these toxins and parasites. And it looks like this is exactly what you literally did through your art. So please take us into the journey, into the healing practice that you have gotten into and how this is connected, because that is also a deep form of creativity.
Yeah, I mean, that's loaded because, you're right. They can appear to be in two different realms, but I mean, I'm all about the highest of performance, right? If
Mm,
your body is this living organism, how could we have it perform at its highest capacity? And it's very difficult to have it perform at its highest capacity when you have microorganisms as parasites mind controlling you, making you eat things that are distorting your mind, distorting your body, and bringing disease into your life, and even in your human connections with others. For their survival, they will make someone appear as if they're schizophrenic, but it's not that. It's that they're mind controlling. And that's where it plays a role. If someone is looking to have the highest performance of their bodies, this is honestly one of the things that I would probably advise. I honestly think that this is the antidote to a lot of the violence that happens in the world and a lot of the disease. I mean, every disease leads back into the root cause of a parasite overgrowth.
mm,
You know,
mm,
everybody has it. There's not one person that can even survive without these living organisms in your body. And sometimes I even think that we're walking parasites to planet Earth, you know?
mm,
So, um, you know, it all ties in together in just you know, having your vessel be at its highest performance, in my opinion. So, and there's no better medicine than mother medicine. And,
mm,
that's just it, we need to trust more. I know that we've been so straight away with Western medicine to think that's the way to go, and we need to come back and be like, yeah, we can drink our greens, we can eat our fruits, we can and we can really start thriving on on the breast of our planet, you
mm,
know.
mm. Wow. Mel, you tapped into so many things. I want to expand on one of the points that you said. Just like we are all people populating this planet, inside of us is a whole ecosystem and a village. So that is exactly a microcosm of what this whole entire universe and existence is, the macro and the micro, right? I want you to expand a little further on how did you make those discoveries, right? A lot of us, I've been on a plant-based and healing journey for a long time. Shout out to Mecca who introduced us. And what would you say brought that awareness? Because it's so spiritual what you said of seeing the whole universe and omniverse within yourself, right?
Mhm.
So, I want you to talk about what made that discovery. You gave us the story of how art got discovered and you manifested the situation. Uncle had the opportunity at Carnegie. Boom, you got involved with the agency and this. how were you able to discover what was going on internally with the health? Because I know there were trials and tribulations. It did not come easy, and I'm sure you had to overcome and climb certain mountains, and it made you have to dig deeper, which is, I think, something that we all are facing. And I know so many people may not even be aware of what you're talking about. So please open that door organically in whatever way calls your spirit to do so, about how you made these discoveries, what challenges you went through to come to these methods and almost a pedagogy of identifying and healing.
It's about to get real.
Let's go.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, right now I'm in the family court system, and I was being manipulated by a lawyer to vaccinate my daughter and put her in public school. Both two things that I was completely clear, even in the inception of knowing I was pregnant, that I didn't want my daughter to be institutionalized, and I didn't want my daughter to have these substances in her body that will alter her design. And I went forth with a couple of vaccinations based on what he was putting in my mind, and I had such mom guilt
Mm,
that I was like, I need to do research. I need to figure out ways to detox these substances that I ingested and I had my daughter get implanted with.
mm,
And I did a lot of research, but there was this one book in particular that said that these vaccinations are not screened for parasites. They're screened for bacteria, but they're not screened for parasites. So you don't really know what you're getting implanted in you.
mm,
And I decided to create a whole 6 months plan where we started with a parasite detox, then led into a heavy metal, then led into bacteria, mold, fungus, viral, and yes. And it was this series, and I know in my intuition that I did my best for my daughter in cleansing what could have potentially really caused her a lot of harm, unseen harm in the future.
mm. Thank you for that vulnerability, Mel. Had to throw the hearts up again for that. We got a lot of fires coming up in the comments. Someone did your cleanse last month and they said they highly recommend it.
Oh,
So we're here. We're here. Y'all know that there is answers, right? There is answers. Mel, I know this has taken you not only to here, but other cultures and places around the world. You talked about your ancestry, from your family, growing up with those roots. And then, I know you're in Brooklyn now. And you've also been able to go different spaces and places. And I know these things have informed you. I love how you were able to say, like, look, these situations manipulated some choices I made, but I was able to do the research, particularly around the detoxification process, right? I want you to open the door on that word detoxing because, yo, we have to do it from people. We have to do if we don't watch out, we are conditioned. We are creatures of habits, right? I
right.
know a lot of your work from learning about you has been about replacing some of those toxic things with healthy habits, including people, including activities. I know you're deep into your body work. I've been honored to have you come to Decipher, hang out with you at Urban Vegan Roots and, build and meet your amazing daughter. And what really stood out to me, what you said is the love for your child really activated something within you, right? How has your journeys through all these different environments and practices just taught you and inspired you to keep on going further? Because this is a never ending journey from when you were a little child to now. This continues to happen. And I know that this is not something you can do in one day, this is a process. So, how has that journey been for you? Both artistically and I guess holistically with your health, and how does it continue to evolve and change in this day and time? Because I know you've been developing courses and the things that you mentioned. So please just take that and go with it where spirit calls you to.
That's pretty loaded. But I think that my art is inspired by my life. And if it wasn't for the places that I put myself in, then I would have a lack of experience and a lack of art. So being around specific people and conversations and nature, and then, the hard, you know, buildings and everything just has given me tools to show up as a performing artist. And I just thank God for the places that I've decided to put myself, and even those that were pretty toxic for me. And not everything that's healthy is good for you. And not
Mm.
everything that feels good is good for you. So, you have to really be like, okay, I understand this feels good, but is this good? So
Mm.
it's constantly choosing to go from the unconscious to conscious, and trying to be as present in every waking moment that you can. And in these little moments that I feel like I failed, like with my daughter, I always think that if I'm given a chance to be alive, then there's an opportunity for me to repair. So whether
Wow.
I show that up in my art, or I show that up in my life, I think it's just an opportunity.
Mel, bars. I'm gonna say it again. Thank you again. Thank you. You spoke on something really, really, I'm gonna say present and deep. And it's about systems of oppression. I know me and you have had these conversations in person, right? A lot of systems that people are conditioned. I'm following the thread of this conversation, right? That we are literally taught to trust, put our kids into these systems, these medical institutions. They are doing the exact opposite of what they present themselves to do. And I see how you've had the strength to take your daughter out of the school system and to do these things. I want you to just let us know, because I know there are parents in this chat right now, and a lot of them are scared, right? Or they might not know what to do. I know you've done this as a single mom now. Our admin is also someone I said, yo, check out what Melanie's doing. It's gonna help. She was talking to me. I know I tried to connect you with a few folks on how do you keep people away from that? I love how you said you made some mistakes, but you were able to understand that through those mistakes, you can learn from them. How were you able as a mom to find the strength to, remove your child, and you're a freelancer. You don't have a stable matrix job to say I can do this and that, but yet you still choose to put you and your daughter first and not align to these systems of oppression. And that takes a deep, deep spiritual strength. So if you can give us any insight on that process, because I know it wasn't easy and it's an ongoing thing. We got Guazabara also from the Taino tribe in here too. So
So
please let us know about those getting off of those systems of oppression. What was going on internally as you made those choices, as you continue to raise your daughter out of the matrix. Give us some insight into that, and also continue to live your life as a creative and a world traveler and all of the above that you mentioned.
I think number one is really having trust in the ultimate creator, and
Mm.
and waking up and always remembering that you are the predominant creator of your life, and no one could take that away from you. And I also believe that being a predominant creator in our life, we can also manipulate the quantum realm into however we want it to play out,
Let's let's go.
right? So, sometimes I get a little serious, but then every once in a while I laugh at myself, because I know that ultimately this is just a play and I'm the freaking writer, right? So then I have to have conversations with myself. And it's always that I forget and I remember a game, right? And it's about exactly what I want. And I was like,
Mm.
I already knew that I wanted her not to be I wanted her to be homeschooled. So
Mhm.
then I took inspired action. And I knew that I wasn't going to give up my career as an artist. So, I took inspired action. It's one step at a time. It takes a lot of organization because now, as a parent, it's not just about my life. I'm also creating her life or supporting creating her life, you know? So I say I say the best thing that any parent can do is always have trust that God is going to cradle you. You just got to ask, you got to invite, you got to trust that it's going to come, and you got to take inspired action. When you get that
Mhm.
download, that's God talking, and take action.
Bars, bars, and bars. Again. Mel, I love where you just opened the door because you opened it. I'm gonna go there. You said something that is truly, truly one of my deepest thoughts. Shout out to Guaz, who's also recommending Mel's classes that she does for the kids. We're gonna make sure we tap into that and let people know Mel is gonna be tagged in this. If you're watching this now or later, hit Mel up. Her offerings are phenomenal. She is part of our roster. They go way beyond just movement and dance, and her skills, which are there, but they're holistic creative forms of expression. Thank you, Mel. I want to take this into, you said one of my favorite words. You said the quantum field and bringing that into reality, trusting source's divine energy and knowing that you are part of that. In this world where if people don't see it, they believe it. I'm taking it back to little Mel in the beginning of this conversation, who imagined the reality and brought it here. All of us have access to this quantum realm where we can literally bring things into our reality. And I know that this concept, some may say it's woo woo or this, but anyone who's accessed it, and we all know this on small levels when we've imagined becoming this or a person that came into our life. Our imagination brings forth reality. I want you to open the door to that quantum realm and that multidimensionality that is accessible as we continue to ascend to all beings, Mel. So take us into the quantum field and let people know what it's about because I'm just so happy that you opened that door organically. I never know where these convos go, but when they go, we go there. That's our job. And thank you so much. You're getting a lot of love in the chat
No,
from
thank
here.
you.
That's it.
You know, there's so many ways to explain it and
Mhm,
explain how to get there. Some people say it's meditation. People say it's self hypnosis.
mhm,
I mean, whatever it is, it's this dreamlike state, right? And when you're in there, you are a shapeshifter. You can take yourself anywhere you want to go, and it just takes just freedom, you know. And I have to say, I'm a fantasy addict, so I love being up there. Like I'm like, woo,
yeah.
living my best life.
Yeah.
And but there's a transition when you're bringing it and fortifying it back into the physical realm,
Mm,
you know, and that's definitely going to take you to see it and then backtrack your steps of your action plan to then go back. So
wow. Mel, I'm throwing the hearts back up. That's big love energy. Guys, I don't know if y'all understand how simple Mel just literally broke down quantum physical manifestation by saying what you are seeing in you is becoming reality, whether you are aware of it or not. I love what Mel said. She chooses to activate and live and put so much investment in that realm to literally let it rain metaphorically down into her reality. These emotions that we're saying, and Mel, I can feel it from you. I feel your vibration from here. This has to be felt. That's why I say you have to activate the organism with that frequency and that vibration, y'all. This cannot be just intellectualized. It is beyond the concept. And I know you as a mover, and you
mm,
take these literal forms. I know you play with fire, you play with the elements. I've hang out with you in the park. You are really, that's why I say please check out some of Melanie's work, y'all. Like she really, when she moves, when you were there at that decide and you grabbed the mic and you said certain things, I was like, yo, she's transmitting. You become an antenna that literally becomes a vessel. And I think so many people feel so obligated to rationalize and think it. But if you allow yourself to be that conductor and that conduit to your imagination, combined with that vibrational rate, it literally brings it into existence. So, Mel, I just want to thank you from my heart for that. I also know that what you're doing is constantly evolving, right? Me and you have had these things. This, you can't even pull the moves from last week, much less last year. We have to stay present. And I know as an artist and your work, particularly around movement and dance and the holistic side, being present and adapting and constantly doing this work and evolving is required, right? You can't just use the moves. So please talk to us about how this evolution has been and how do you still keep that foundation based on the knowledge that you've acquired and wisdom you've learned, but also let it go to be open to the new and the unknown, which is, I know, a big part of this realm. So take it how you please, love. Thank you. Wow.
Um,
Appreciate you.
you know, I always have these conversations with myself on all the things that I've either shamed myself, limited myself, my old selves, wrote
Mm,
myself off, and I revisit it. I go, you know what, Melanie? You're not too old for ballet. I'll throw myself in a ballet class. And so
come
what?
on.
You got knock knees. Go do ballet anyway. And I this year I got back into breaking. I've done contemporary. I was so afraid to do contemporary. I'm like trying it out. I'm loving it. There was a time where my friend, she got burned in fire, and I had wrote it off. I was like, I'm not doing fire. Like this woman, she went on fire. I don't think it's a good idea. And then it came to me, and I was like, you know what? I want to dance with fire. I love that element. And I was like, I want to do it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm performing every weekend with fire. And, I think that the parts of ourselves that want to protect ourselves are the parts of ourselves that starve our artists. And it's really important to, and not even starve our artists, but it also starves our inner child, the one that wants to play and be just, you know, and I have these conversations with myself of all the things that I've had limiting beliefs about, and I just defy it.
Mm, wow. She's done it again. You're putting MC to the bars. I have to take a breath and I'll just say the bar. No, you are a warrior. I feel it through this, even through these devices. There is a warrior spirit in you. You are not speaking about the absence of challenge. You are not speaking about the absence of fear. You are speaking about literally moving through it. I want to tap into that warrior spirit. I don't know if it came from the ancestors that are moving within you. I don't know if it comes from the other dimensions, but Mel, you are a powerful being. I can't
Yes.
even limit you to a human suit. Take us to this power, Mel. Just expand on it however you see fit, because I feel my perception is you are drawing from a well and you are encouraging us to draw from our well. There's something, and this is not something that can be obtained through any external source. This is through a deep, deep exploration and drive. Take us to this spirit, Mel, however you choose. Like, where do you draw from to continuously? Because it feels like to me an infinite well. That's why I'm screaming out bars. I'm throwing up the hearts. I'm loving it because I am feeling inspired to dive into that well within me. But how does that well feel? Where are you able? Because I love how you're being real about the challenges. Everything you said was not no hocus pocus. This is work. This is literal work, and you are dedicated to this experience and this existence. So, where does that warrior spirit come from? What do you feel? I love how you said imagination was a big key component. falling and saying, nah, I'm gonna reinvent myself. Ballet, I wasn't ready to do it. The fire, let's go. Contemporary, this, I'm out here. You know what I mean? There is a level of determination in what you're doing, you know. So how does that come about for you? How do you keep that fire fueled, right? Because it's easy to let it go down on days that are rough, right? And other times. So talk to us about this and how do you keep that warrior spirit alive and present and so prominent? I love it.
Um, I think it's the perspective when I get out of alignment to come back in is that I'm still alive and I'm getting another chance. And I want to live my life ideally. I don't want to live my life with lack. I want to be like, I want to live it ideally, even if it's not perfection. I just want to show up in the ways that make me feel whole, you know? And um, the warrior that lives in me is the warrior that's driven by unveiling the truth. I am obsessed with it. I want to all the limiting lies that I've had in here. I even that's my first hunt.
Mm,
That is my first hunt. And I strip and I strip and I strip all those limiting beliefs that just hold me down because they're not real. And they've probably been contaminated inside of me by somebody else. So it's like,
mm,
okay, let me work on this. And then I work on that my outside, you know?
mm,
So it really I really am a truth seeker,
mm, mm,
you know, and I think that is what keeps me becoming resilient. Okay, I'm injured. All right, so guess what? How can I heal myself? Great. Right now I have a crazy
wow.
injury. I have a pinched nerve and it's like going down my shoulder. And I cried about it this morning and I was like, okay, this setback, what am I? And I was in the shower and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be so strong. Like I already knew it. I knew my
Mm,
comeback was
mm,
gonna be, I feel it. I feel it, you know, and I think about injuries like
ooh,
this. If it's a bottom injury, foot, legs, knees, even hips, I'm like, okay, that's foundation. All right, Melanie, you got a foundational issue right now. But right here, it's in
mm,
my neck. And I'm like, this is still me not completely trusting the quantum realm. It's getting here and it's getting distorted and stuck right here. I'm like, all right, we got some work to do, Mel. I hear you. I see you. I know it. Okay. You
ooh,
know? So my spirit and the warrior inside of me just wants to be so alive, just so alive, and just live this ideal life. So when I go out with a freaking bang, you know?
mm. Wow. Mel, I'm always taking that breath. Wow. I love how you are so omnipresent with the challenges. I want to point out and reinforce something you said. You identifying where the physical location, lower body foundation, upper, closer to the crown chakra, and the higher energy centers manifestation from bringing things from that quantum field into here. You are literally reading yourself like a book. And I love how you said you was crying this morning. You got in the shower. You're like, yo, that comeback, no, the comeback gonna be crazy. So even in your times of pain, instead of amplifying the pain, you like, yo, I'm ready. I'm ready to do. I took a walk by the water. I sent my prayers. I was like, please may this conversation carry something, you know. And I was looking at the waters and I was thinking about you and I was like, I know Mel is gonna bring something so important that is needed and you are really bringing some valuable information. It just turned 444. The creator's numbers are even with us, right? This is a constant process, y'all. I really want you to understand what Mel is saying. This isn't her coming to this I got it figured out mode. This is her identifying and choosing her mental and emotional state and allowing her body then to heal and go into the realms that are accessible by her choosing where she is focusing her attention and energy. This is huge. And she is doing this while being a freelancer, while being a mom, holding it down dolo. So, like, there's no excuses, y'all. Do not let your mind get overridden. Mel has also been saying at every step of the way, there was conditioning, there was these things going on. I want to open this door as we get here because you are someone who I can go here with the decolonization of our minds. So much of this, like you pointed out, I'm just trying to get what was been programmed in here and delete the programs because you're not saying, yo, it's the system, it's this, it's that. Never once in this entire conversation have you mentioned an external thing that you are placing blame upon. You are like, what has been adapted into my belief system, my consciousness that is allowing me to have what I've learned to term as a core limiting belief, which then puts a limiter on us that we cannot cross through it. So, yes, talk to us about the decolonization of the mind because we are always in this state of conditioning, but we have to bring that awareness to the level which I think you have really, really become very present with it. So, let us know about the decolonization of it, any techniques or practices. I know we said imagination, I know you said bringing that state of healing to the forefront. Please keep giving us some of that sauce. You got that salsa for us, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And of course, guys, tap in with her and make sure you check in her courses. This is just a glimpse. And if you want the deep dive, y'all got to hit her up and see what's up because the best investment is to invest in yourself. So, Mel, keep giving us some of this decolonization, these tactics, these awarenesses, whatever you could share with us. I'm going to call it secret sauce. And y'all make sure you hit her up and dive in. She's got great work.
yeah, the decolonization, it's all the core foundation of this structure is to create fear. And this fear then leads to rehabilitated people that become slaves. And if you have people that are in war with their families, that is playing against clan.
Mm,
Then clans then evolve into tribes. Now we have a group of us people, black and brown people, that are in war with each other. We have tribes against tribes. And then you bring all these tribes together, more black and brown people. And now we have a nation of no nation in America. And we're all in separation and all in compartments and all different types, forgetting that we are human beings.
mm,
And then we don't see ourselves because we can't see our brothers and sisters. And then we're at war with ourselves. Imagine that.
said it before, I'm going to say it again. Oh,
So
y'all.
the decolonization is is really healing the parts of our minds that have all these designs of oppression for the system of what I call the failed forces to crumble so that we can be human again and
Mm,
we can coexist with each other in harmony. Like everybody just needs the basic needs: food, water, shelter, maybe some fresh kicks once in a while. Why not? You know? And we can live in harmony. I really, really believe it.
mm,
But we have all these distractions to ignite the little switch of colonization in us that distorts us, and then we're mad again. And then we forget what the fuck we're mad at. Sorry to drop a curse bomb, but really,
ah, bring it out. Yeah.
like it's all to oppress us.
Oh, no, my gratitude is an ocean for you. Wow, I've learned so much about you. This is going by like grease lightning on crack out here. You're like you are literally defining the space-time continuum with this conversation. You are holding up a mirror to allow us to see ourselves. It is with immense gratitude. I thank you for your work. I'm going to say it again, y'all. This is, if you can imagine, this is what she's doing within a digital sphere platform. Please, I beg of anyone whose spirit feels called, dive in, dive into yourself and dive in with people who are going to amplify it. We need each other, community, communication, and unity. Mel also dropped a serious bomb, a knowledge bomb, to say that if you can't imagine another way that's beyond this, there will be no other way. We have to, I'm bringing it back to what she said from Little Mel. You have to use your imagination to imagine what was there before it comes into reality. That has to come first before we even had these devices or airplanes to fly on or whatnot. We had to imagine it, envision it, and bring it into the reality. I'm also reinforce what Mel said about abundance. Yes, food, clothing, shelter, water, but I love how she threw in some fresh kicks too. We can live in those things. We are meant to thrive. We have to get out of scarcity. We have to get out of that mindset that, and I love how you pointed
And
literally
that's
to the
exactly
back.
what the scarcity is right
Yes,
here.
right at the where was it, near the hypothalamus, right in the
Yeah.
bottom of this area where the emotional responses are fired off, and then we're like, I'm not gonna make my rent. I'm using this voice to use hyperbole. I can't do this. No, I can't do what I love. I gotta go to this job. And then once that switch is activated, the amygdala fires off, and then you're in fight, flight, fawn, or freeze mode. And then that manifestation is killed because you stay within survival mode.
Mhm.
But what Melanie is teaching us and personifying is how to raise beyond that. Some will call it Kundalini, some will call it the energy. But she is literally saying this is accessible at all times through your vibrational state, through your mental awareness, through your actions, and through your thoughts and emotions, feelings. So this is nothing. You don't need a trip to the Himalayas. This is all accessible at all times beyond the linear construct of time.
And
Wow.
that's another thing to circle back into colonial trauma. It is
Drop it on me.
designed so that we forget.
Oh,
Like we
remember,
forget our powers. Yeah. We gotta
put the
remember.
members back together, put it together. Remember, tribe, it is all there. Wow. Mel, this time is flying by so fast. I want to honor this and allow you to let people know about what you got going on. Let us know about the courses, the coaching. Let us know about what's going on. If you want to bust a move or whatever you want to do to let us know. I am so honored for you to give this time to us because it was literally from the quantum field. This felt like 3 minutes. I can't believe it's been almost an hour.
Yeah.
But please let people know what you got going on, what's up. Tell us a little bit more about the courses, and if there's any form of creative expression you feel, whether that's taking a breath or just take this next few minutes to really let people know what your offerings are, how they can get in touch with you, and yeah, just dive into us and let that pour out. Y'all tap in. She's dropped so much. This is an ocean of wisdom right here, y'all. So you can imagine this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Mel, please, I'm gonna start grabbing the little giddy and getting ready to recap this. But please let us know about your offerings, how people can get in touch, and then expand on that so people can literally continue to work with you.
All right. Well, tomorrow, May 1st, I'm going to be doing an introductional Zoom meeting to guide people through a successful 21-day parasite detox. If
Mm,
that's something that you are interested in, I will be holding you by the hand, even digitally, of how to do this effectively. That's tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'm having a performance method class. This performance method class, I'm integrating acting exercises and activities to elevate your performance level, especially for my dancers. But dance, you don't have to be a dancer, you don't have to be an actor. If this is something that you want to explore your humanness and unveil the parts of yourself, it's a really great way to tap into the fears, tap into what feels good, tap into, I didn't even know that existed in me, breakthroughs. That's on Thursday. And then on May 11th, for those that don't know, I'm still a competitive dancer. I love to battle, guys. Like, it is my dip. And
Warrior.
yeah, and it's honestly, my competitiveness is on being the better version of myself. It ain't about ever about the other person. It's like, okay, how can I show up better? But there is tactics, there is strategies, there is preparation, and it is all up here. It's all mental. So that's May 11th. So if you want battle tactics, performance, parasite detox, please hit me up. I'm on Instagram. You can hit me up there, and then we'll take it from there.
Wow, Mel, you are a gift, and this
Oh,
conversation was
thank
nothing
you.
less than a holistic form of true creative expression. You are literally what we started this conversation, full 360 of art activating the organism. Your artistry shines through everything you say. I love how you kept it raw and you didn't deny the challenges and the hardships. Do you have anything else on your mind before I take it away with a little bit of a music? Or is any other messages you want to pass as a final download before we take these couple minutes to bring us home? Remember, guys, Mel is tagged in here. If you're watching this later, her info is right inside of the post. If you need her for workshops, she's on the Creative Expressions roster. Tap in with her courses. Her events in May are coming up. Tomorrow is the intro to what y'all can do in the Wellness Month Deep. If y'all are feeling what is happening here, you can just imagine what would happen if you take a session with Mel. So please, Mel, you got anything else, or shall we bring it home?
I do want to give a shout out to Guasabara. I don't know if he's still
Yes,
here.
he's up in
Um,
here. He's
he
up in here.
is.
Yeah,
And I
watch
just
it.
wanted to say that he's been on my mind and heart because now we're rounding off into Moon Dance. And this Moon Dance is a collective of conscious women that come together. It's actually 100 of us, and we all pray collectively. And, I want to offer those that are big prayers under the strawberry full moon. If you feel the call, please join us in your space to make prayers for the higher consciousness of this planet. Please, we need each and every one of you. The more we pray, the more we believe, the more we come together. That right there, we will reshape the quantum realm into the lives, or the evolution of this planet. So that's where I want to leave it.
Mel, you are doing it. You are representing that shift into the quantum field. And I want to bring us home with a little bit of music for these last couple minutes. And let's dance on the moon with
I'm
it.
gonna
All right, let's
dance.
see. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. You got
All
it. Let's
right.
go. Yeah. Dance on the moon. Please make sure y'all tap in. The answers are within y'all. Who would have thought a young girl with imagination could manifest out of any situation? Bruised knees, falls, and some abrasion. From Staten Island, left the island vacant. From Carnegie Hall to give it all for the parasites that will tell you to fall, and the conditioning of a colonized mind. We gotta fast forward and we see it recline. It's just reflections in the mirror that we're seeing us move, and we all feel bad. And then sometimes we've been bruised, but don't believe inside of the lies that was all in the news, because the colonized mind is designed to be confused. I let loose and go to a different level, and I see it all come. It's so instrumental. I feel the heart start to bring a lot of fire in rotation. God is tired, but we are not retired. We are not expired. We are living so inspired. It is the water, fire, plus a whole lot of earth. And we give thanks to bring the quantum to this earth. We let live and let go, to XO, connect those, to let snow, to get cold, to get hot, to bring stops, to bring flames, to battle our own thoughts with blood and veins. From the blues to the reds, I thought I said everything that manifested wasn't inside of my head. It was all reality from a vision that was said to the ancestors that lived. No, they are not dead. We could all be the best version, loving ourselves, and you could all tap in community. We need help. So it's just a thought that you could turn into reality. It's not determined by your age or your salary. So run the block until you're losing all the calories. And this is just anatomy. I'm wondering, can it be? I let it all flow as she moves with the wind. And then the moment got to happen when we feel it again. Y'all should tap up into Mel for the lessons that she's got. You gotta get rid of parasites that's making your thoughts start to act like a thought. All the things that I got for every water that's dropped, and then I bring it to the mountains. Just for everybody in this world that once was down. And just breathe. Just breathe. The sea is to breathe. Use your imagination, manifest. Pass it all, but life is not a test. Let it all come, even some fresh kicks. We over here in New York without the Knicks. But we've been through nicks and scars and we fell. And we understand that our mind can make it hell, but breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Mel, I want to be mindful of your time. We're at 5:01. Mel puts in that overtime work. Your movements were like the bomba, inspiring the chords and the
Ooh.
melody. You are a gift. You got my spirit so full. I just wish I could give you a huge hug and thank you. You are such a powerful spirit and being. I want to shout out Beth Bliss, Guazabara, Roger Sparks. We had Concrete Monkey in the chat. We had I Am Lady Katie. We had Coco Motion. We
Oh,
had so many beautiful people. Semena was in the building. Patricia Gonzalez Vega, shout out to you. Mel, Melanie Instagram was in here. Another Melanie Antom was in the building. We are out here. Eliel Anna Max was in the building. Sid Marie was in the building. Chai Worldwide was in the building. Timothy Diaz, we want to say thank you. Coro was in the building. Roger Sparks was in the building. World of Cookie was in the building. Amar Amero was in the building. Life of Maryland was in the building. Bam to Amerina was in the building. Nicholas Poe was in the building. Juan Hop One was in the building. And you know we represent. If y'all want to tap in with Mel, y'all know how to get involved. She's on the Creative Expressions Artivist roster. And we are honored for her to be part of our tribe and our soul family. Remember, y'all, look inside and y'all will never be without. I need to respect this woman's time. Let her do what she needs to do, but tap in, y'all. Everything is here. Go into that quantum realm and know if you can imagine it, envision it, it can come into reality. And together we can amplify this and create systems that are beyond those colonized structures and systems of oppression. Big love to you, Mel. Give us one word to take us home and we'll close it out.
mm, live out your truth.
With that said, peace and love and live out your truth. Shout out to Truly. All right. Peace and love and blessings, Mel. I'm going to hit you up. Thank you again so much for this time.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Gratitude.